Hello, and welcome back, you beautiful, beautiful people. It has been a long summer. We haven't done this all summer long. Listen, what better way than to be back and know that Mr. Papa Diddy Pop himself, child, is in jail. Not only is he in jail, but he will be staying there, okay? Them judges said, no, thank you. We don't need you to leave. I want to start by reading you this quote, and you guys know that we will be with Symone Redwine this evening, so we are just waiting for her to come into the room. I want to read you this piece from the AP, okay? New York Associated Press says that Sean Diddy Combs is staying locked up after a judge Wednesday rejected the hip-hop mogul's proposal to await his trial for sex trafficking in the luxury of his Florida mansion instead of in a grim Brooklyn federal jail. U.S. District Judge Andrew L. Carter. And listen, Mr. Carter, we owe you one. We believe in you, sir. Listen, thank you for fighting for us. And we will continue to fight for you, child. We won't never let them throw no dirt on your name as long as you continue to do right. Okay. Judge Carter ruled that Combs' plan, which included $50 million bail offer, GPS monitoring, and strict limitations on visitors, was insufficient to ensure the safety of the community and the integrity of this case. Basically, the lawyer was like, or the judge, excuse me, was like, listen, we don't care. We hear all that you're talking about. We hear that you say, you know what I'm saying? You're not going to contact the people, but you are a slithery snake. You're slippery. Okay. And because you're slippery, we going to let you sit behind bars. And for me, I think it's very poetic. Mr. Sean Diddy Combs, Puff Daddy, Puffy P, Diddy, brother, love Combs, likes to harass and intimidate people. That's his MO. We don't even have to say allegedly anymore. We all read the court docs, right? We all read all of the court docs. But the judges were like, listen, we believe that you're a slithery snake and we're going to let you slither on. Hello to everybody in the chat. Now, child, I don't have Miss Symone on my end, child. So if y'all see her over there, tell her to come on over here, okay? We're finishing off Judge Carter agreeing with the prosecutors who fought to keep Combs in jail, found no condition or set of conditions governing his release that could guard against the risk of him threatening or harming witnesses, which is the central charge in this case. No, he's absolutely not guilty yet, but some things, listen, if it walk like a duck, talk like a duck. We got Lil Rod's case. We got Dawn's case. If you are a child of the 90s, if you was grown in the 90s, then we know all of these things. We have the information from Shine's case, right? None of it points to that Shine did what Shine went to jail for. So yes, while he is not guilty, we can surmise on certain levels, you know, what it is that he did or didn't do, or we could kind of begin to put it together. And I think that we have, and I think that the judges clearly thought the same, but I think that we have enough evidence to prove like, oh no, you're slippery and we're just not going to do that. You know what I mean? Thank you for trying, but we won't do that. Now listen, everybody here, that video going around of all of that baby oil in his alleged bathroom, that is AI. That is AI. If y'all want to share it with somebody, you can absolutely do that. It's not real. That's not Mr. Diddy's house. That is 100% AI. First of all, what's the man doing with the baby oil that he would have needed it all in the bathroom like that? And far be it for me to side with Mr. Papa Diddy Pop, but at some point, listen, you got to stand up by Janista. I'd rather need it and not have it and not need it than need it and not have it, okay? Put my 10 gallons of baby oil back in the closet. That's where it was supposed to be. Now, I do want to know if it was 1,000 bottles all in one place, right? Or when they tallied it up from the Florida home, from the California home, from the New York home, once they tallied all of that up, then Then was it 1,000 bottles? But either way, listen, as a Costco girly pop herself, I do have to say I stand a budgetista. So I can't, out of all the things that I can knock that man for, I cannot knock him for shopping in bulk. If you using baby oil, go ahead on and save thine coin. Hello, Miss Redwine is in the building.
Girl,
It's the prison.
I could not wait to talk to you today. I am reporting live from the prison, from Diddy's prison. This is
Detention
general
center,
population. Hmm.
because that's
Hmm.
where he'll be.
Hmm. If he's lucky, he's locked up. They won't let him out.
Okay,
He
my
won't come out.
first question, though, ma'am, is where he is in Brooklyn, and I know that it's technically called a detention center, right?
Yeah.
But inside of that facility, do you know, is there even an opportunity to have a Martha Stewart-esque experience inside of there?
No,
I
I don't
mean,
believe so. So the reason I'm familiar with this is my brother once had a real dumb girlfriend. Well, he's not the smartest either. He went to kindergarten twice, but I love him. Okay. And the two of them were
yeah.
driving from California to Texas, smoking a little ganja, went through El Paso, and they got pulled over. She was
Mhm.
Canadian, and they locked her up in ICE in the detention center. And so those federal detention centers are are horrible. Ooh, I'm trying to figure out, did I lose L? Well, I'll keep going. Those detention centers are absolutely horrible, and they are just like jails, and because it houses federal inmates, it houses all of that, it houses the bad guys, the good guys. So no, the detention centers are not like that Martha Stewart experience, those little campuses. These are like nasty, rat infested, all that bad stuff. It's still better than Rikers Island, but it is still far lower. Great question.
No, that is where he deserves to be. Again, somebody pointed out in the chat, we don't know, as per law, you're innocent until proven guilty, right? So we don't know if he did it. But from all of the things, listen, that man is exactly where he needs to be based on that Cassie video.
That's what I'm saying. We know he did some things, and that's one of the things that we know he did. Sure do. Sure do. Sure
Listen,
did. Oh,
I brought
let me
I
I got
brought my
something to
red
introduce myself.
cup
Yes.
because I
Yes.
said let's get real ghetto, okay?
And,
Mr.
and
Papa Diddy
okay, so
Pop
I
has
want to
been arrested
introduce
for
make
being
sure
ghetto.
that I introduce you to my audience because they're asking me like, who's this lovely lady? So I'll let you introduce yourself first and then
I'm Elle, formerly Housewives in Chit Chat, but that is me. I am a housewife with a pop culture obsession. So I went viral over on Bravo about 3 years ago. I did a video called Kidnapping a Real Housewife Fan, and it kind of just took over from there. I see some of the chit chatters in the building over on my page. That's what we do. We like to chit chat about pop culture, but we also like to remember that we are all human beings. Okay, we approach it from that standpoint. I'm not really into the name calling. Now, if you
no.
do something dumb online where I can see it, I am going to talk about it. I am not the content creator. I'm not going to go and I'm not going to pull and see if your house is getting ready to get into foreclosure. I don't care nothing about that. Okay. But if you let it make it to the internet, if you let it make it to the big screen on television, I am going to chit chat about it. So thank you for
Love it.
having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm attorney Symone, your legal bestie. I'm an attorney, and I fell into this space because I love minding other people's business in the form of I get paid to do it. I mean, technically. But
Listen,
I just kind of fell into this because I would watch different Instagram clips and things like that, and I would respond to them from using them to educate people on legal topics. I was in law school, I was a teaching assistant. I've always wanted to be a law professor. And so my channel, which is called Girl, Is That Legal, is like an opportunity for me to teach using infotainment on the law, but also I bring the receipts. So
yes.
that's why I thought this will be a good combo tonight where we're going to talk about the receipts. We're going to talk about what's going on and pop culture.
And pop culture. And if you were here because of me, I tell y'all, I have my PR degree from the University of YouTube. Okay. So I am not the person who went to school for this. I am qualified to bump my gums. That's what I like to do. And I do that very well. So I would like to thank you guys for that. But I want to start right here because I don't think that everybody understands, Symone, the gravity of this lawsuit being against Comb Enterprise and not just Sean Puff Daddy, Puffy P. Diddy. I change my name every time I go to jail. What y'all think his next name gonna be?
Thank you. And that was another reason I was so excited to do this collaboration today, right? Because me with the legal mind and the professor mind, I've also served as a law school professor, is I think of it from this perspective, but I love to answer the questions of the non-lawyer. And so here's the key. By this also including the names of his corporate entities, that means that the government, if he is found guilty, and he will be found guilty of at least one of the three charges,
At least one.
at least one. If he's found guilty of any of them, the government can then seize the assets, every single assets of the Combs Enterprises. That means there will be nothing for the kids.
Mm.
They're going to be regulars. I don't wish that on them, but
I don't wish that on them. So let's add another layer of legality to it. During COVID, some of you may remember, some of you may not. P. Diddy and Mace got into it. This is before Mace got back on the Cameron podcast, right? And at this point, we had not seen Mace for a very long time. I think the last time we really saw him was Breathe, Stretch, Shake, Let It Go. Okay. He was heavy in his pastorism. And that man went to Harlem, put his grills back in his mouth, got up on that live and got real gully. But one of the things that he said in that live is that, like, you talk a lot of mess for somebody who has everything in their mom's name.
Good point. But see, the government doesn't play that. So there's a concept in the law that's called a fraudulent transfer. And a fraudulent transfer is when you put something in somebody else's name. It's just like this. It's just like when, you know, your mama don't have the credit, and so she put the light bill in your name, but it's really her apartment and her light bill, you know, that kind of thing. And with a fraudulent transfer, they can undo that transfer. The federal government will undo that transfer. So Miss Janice, they could snatch that platinum wig right off Miss Janice's head.
Baby.
She should not get comfortable. None of them should get comfortable, especially not that little third baby mama or whatever she is. The Love, the mother
mama.
of Love, the cybersecurity queen, that one. She should be particularly careful. Now, I know there were rumors that the two of them were secretly married, as in Diddy and her were secretly married. We'll find out through this case, but I want to be clear. Spousal immunity does not protect where there are crimes. Where there are crimes is not protected, and it only
has to be crimes inside of the marriage.
Correct. That's what I was going to say. And any crimes inside the marriage and things that happen prior to them getting married should not be covered. They likely will not be covered. So, yeah. Just said not the wig. Yeah, the wig.
On Friday, we are going to have PR expertise, Miss Ebony, on here, and we will be talking about how you move, how you handle a PR crisis such as this. Obviously, you are Esquire and not PR manager, but do you think that a bounce back is possible, right? Like, let's just say, and I hope this is not the case, but let's just say for him, best case scenario, he goes in there, does 15, maybe serves 8 or so. Can he bounce back when he comes out?
He can bounce his behind over to Walmart and greet people, tell them hello. Okay. No, he's not. No, he won't. It would be like Harvey Weinstein bouncing back. And the thing about people like Diddy is to have to live a regular life, the lives that we live, is torture. It would be torture to him. Even how, like, right now, they said he can't get reservations at restaurants and things like that. They don't want to be associated. That has put him in his own little prison, right? Just the impending things of this. But no, there's going to be no bounce back, because at this point, you are a abuser. And you know, picking my words for YouTube, but he really thought, like, the hearing, and I went through the tweets today of the play-by-play of today's hearing. He really thought he could buy his way into literally creating his own prison. He said, "Oh, I don't need to be there with you regular people. I'm going to hire private security. I'm going to do all these things." Literally, they said, "Oh, we'll keep 3 security guards in the house at all time, and we'll have cameras running, Your Honor, and we'll take out his internet." Like, I'd never seen the creativity
Oh no, they got very, very creative. They got
Yeah.
so creative that originally I thought the first hearing from today didn't go well because that's what I saw first in my news cycle. So I
Hmm.
saw them getting a little bit more creative, and I was like, "Well, is this happening because the other hearing didn't go so well?" And we know that that one was overturned and all of that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But I do think that, to your point, with Diddy, his name has held so much weight. Even his origin story, right? Like him walking up to, I think it was Brian Michael Cox. It was either Brian Michael Cox or Dallas Austin, but I definitely think it was Brian
Hmm.
Michael Cox.
Hmm.
Said that
Hmm.
one time he had met Diddy outside of a studio with a silk shirt on. Diddy was still carrying a briefcase. Nobody knew him. Bad Boys was not a thing, right? And just true, like New Yorker, true Diddy, he gives Brian Michael Cox his card. And he's like, "Who's this?" And he was like, "I'm telling you, like I'm gonna be hot soon. Like I'm gonna be hot one day." Somewhere in between there and 9 months later, Diddy found who he needed to find. The next time Brian Michael Cox found Diddy, he was Puff Daddy. So, and that's not to imply that he didn't put in the work, but there was this very like fairy godmother esque portion of his story that's like this man has been getting his way for so long. For so long. His name is Puffy because he allegedly used to get mad and huff and puff.
Right. And when he didn't get his way, which is ridiculous. Like that's ridiculous. So he's been this way his whole life. And it's just so amazing to see that it was Cassie who has flipped these tables in from her experience. I know when she was going
Mhm.
through what she went through, she was probably every day saying to herself, God, why me? Why me? Why me? Never ever realizing that unfortunately she had to go through it, but her going through that was going
It's going
to
to
basically
save.
stop it for everybody else.
It's going to save so many people. And I think the
Mhm.
other side of that is funny because I think, and I have no proof, but I think that Carisha got with Diddy, and I said this on my videos before, expecting the J Lo treatment, right? Before J Lo got with Diddy, J Lo didn't have no restaurants. She didn't have a clothing line. She didn't have any perfume. When J Lo left Diddy, she had everything business wise that Diddy had. It was a level up, and she had a stamp in the Black community that she did not have. Not as heavy, not
That's
as
true.
inky. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
She from the block because of Diddy. And I think that Carisha was looking for that, put her on kind of what Jackie Christie say, build a hub. Um Jackie Jackie said, and I mean she was looking for that type
Yes,
of
yes.
scenario. And I think unfortunately she just got on this ship a little bit too late. And I do think though it would have worked had she ran into him 5 years earlier.
I could see that too. I also wonder. I don't think I would love to hear the logic of why he did not treat J Lo that way. I think I really do feel that there are certain women's personalities where you just kind of know you cannot get away with it in the same way. I think because J Lo, if J Lo told, people would believe J Lo.
People would believe J Lo. I do think that we're too far. She can't catch it now, right? Because if J Lo speaks now, it's like, well, girl, she
Right,
gonna have
right.
to show an NDA that is like so
Hmm.
big and so like, oh, okay, this is why I couldn't speak. And I also don't believe that it didn't happen to J Lo. You think J Lo got caught up in the going to
Agreed.
court with Diddy? She was there with the whole nightclub situation. She was lying for him from the beginning. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? I don't think if he called Kalina 54 times before she posted a social media post, I think he
And
was
today they said in
unfortunately on.
one day was the 54. It was 144 times in total. And he hadn't talked to her in years. One of those incidents was at 2 a.m. the in the morning, right after the lawsuit by Don was filed. His lawyers said, "Oh yeah, we called her at 2 a.m." Sir, what? That's called
Yes.
obstruction of justice, dummy.
He just be like, yeah, no, it happened.
You are not smart right now, sir. I mean, you he must be to have gotten where he is in life. But that makes sense to you to be like, "Oh yeah, we called her at 2 a.m. Baby, that's not business hours.
Not at all. Not at all.
That's not
It's not
business
business hours.
hours."
He
Now,
doesn't
someone
operate a business.
Yeah, I see a comment here where someone has stated they want to say two things. They want us to talk about as well, address Kevin Lyles and that those stepping down. But also, I saw
Hmm.
an interesting comment. Someone says they feel that Little Rod's complaint may have actually done more towards moving this needle towards this. What do you think, Al?
Oh, I definitely think Lil Rod's lawsuit moved the needle. And I'll say this again, I'm not an Esquire, I'm just a pop culture enthusiast. Up until Lil Rod's lawsuit, we had never in the pop culture community seen legal documentation riddled with physical evidence. The
That's true.
screenshots and the everything of Lil Rod's lawsuit made it even more damning than the words. Um, so I think it pushed the needle. I think that Lil Rod story ironically confirmed a lot of stories and a lot of fables that were around the hip hop community. So it
Yeah.
kind of acted as like that glue or that binding agent was like, well, if this is true, then it was that puzzle piece, right? Like it just made everything come
Hmm.
together. I do think though, I thought that when R. Kelly went down, I said, this man is going to sing like a canary. We going to hear everybody. And respectfully to the victims, R. Kelly going down was a little anticlimactic in that sense. I
Hmm.
I think one more day of that slot food in Brooklyn.
Hmm.
And Diddy gonna be like, let me tell y'all about Prince Harry. Like, I think it's coming like word vomit.
Right. Yes, absolutely. But also, I think that and I want to explain why it was that attorneys traditionally don't do what Little Rod's lawyer did. And
On
that's
what
because,
level?
and he got in trouble for that. And his style, he's gotten in trouble with that with other judges. Now, we don't do it because when you do a complaint, your complaint's purpose is really just to lay out the facts. But Little Rod's attorney understood that by filing a complaint against Diddy, period, it's going to pick up traction in the media. So his goal was to ensure that the media would take and it would continue to have this lawsuit in the media cycle. The problem
Mm-hmm.
with Little Rod's lawsuit is that he did not structure and write it
Nope.
the way
The
that Cassie did. He never once said he was an employee. He said he was an independent contractor. I disagree. I would have never done that. I would have never, ever done that because if he had just said he was an employee, they didn't have a written contract, blah, 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 it would
different
have
conversation.
triggered employment insurance. It's the difference between getting paid and not. Because Little Rod's offenses are still within the statute of limitations. Even now, I don't know if he amends it to
If
state
he
that he's
amends
an
it
employee.
though,
Well, I guess he can't because he just very clearly says he's an independent contractor. And the problem that, yeah, again, there's no insurance to cover it. So that's why that case is going to linger and he's probably never going to get paid. Nope. He's
mm-mm.
probably never
His
going to get paid because whatever he's entitled to is going to be after the government is seized. Now, hopefully, the government will seize and then maybe put some money to the side for victims. I honestly don't know exactly how they make that decision, but um, it was salacious. But also, when you actually look at some of the quote receipts, they weren't necessarily relevant. It was more for shock value, and he lost a lot of credibility with the judge. For example, there was like a photo of like Prince Harry or something like that in
yes,
there.
that had
Prince Harry ain't
nothing
got
to
nothing to do with
do.
that. Prince Harry was
Even
that was
the
an example.
picture of Cuba, and I think I said this on a live. For me, I feel like that's a difference in someone who went to law school and a lawyer who understands law, right?
Mm,
Because even the picture that he put of Cuba Gooding Jr., that may tell your story. Nothing illegal is happening here. So while it may be attached to feelings for you, right? Like that, oh, this was the moment. And a lot of people don't know that. Even on TikTok, when they tell story times, those little tidbits that mean something to you mean absolutely nothing to the overall point of the story. Like, we need to get to the point. And again, like I said, it was very, is this Cuba? Oh, is this? But it did not tell the story. For even example, in his story, he talks about where he might have allegedly possibly been drugged
right.
and he woke up the next morning in the bed. The accompanying picture to go with that section of the doc was the back of Carisha's cousin's head.
Right. Right. But I think that also goes to speak how like so few people actually read the stuff. Right. Which is why
Mm.
I really appreciate my subscribers and my viewers. So few people actually read the stuff. I love me some Mims. He's one of my buddies, and he really broke down that lawsuit, and he would go page by page. Because yeah, it was stuff, but it wasn't that. But that's also the problem becomes when you do that, you lose both credibility with the judge, but also other attorneys, and it really starts looking like extortion. Because the truth of the
Mm-hmm.
matter is, if he would have paid that guy like 100,000 for his work for the year, we'd never know about this lawsuit. The issue
We
was, I
wouldn't
think
have
he
known.
offered him. Mhm.
No,
Go
we wouldn't
ahead.
have known about that. We wouldn't have known about Dawn's lawsuit. Dawn
Mhm.
said that he was paid $21 million for 6 shows and would occasionally break her and Kalina off $5,000 sporadically. And when they would ask
Right.
for it, he would say, "You female dogs is so ungrateful." What?
Right. I
Could
mean,
you
he just
imagine paying off your house for $18 million to possibly have it to use for bail, and then your bail be denied, and you be sitting in jail in Brooklyn?
I love it. I love it. And here's the thing too. He can't sell his property now. Right now,
That's
because of the indictment and they're seeking asset forfeiture, he'll have to talk to the court if he wants to try and sell anything. And anybody out there in the market for it is going to know what? We all know Diddy's predicament. Ain't nobody going to give him market price. They'll
not
be like,
giving you
oh no,
$48
you
million
need this
for
money
that
more than
house.
I need that house. Yeah. And
You
do
can have
you even
12 in
what?
cash.
Huh? Yeah.
So I'm not giving 48 million. I got 12 in cash.
And also, do you? But I don't know. Ooh, the freak off to know you bought the freak off house. Woo, that's
The
kind of cool,
amount of
actually.
sage that
Kind of
thing,
nasty.
you gonna have to buy it for the land. Then just knock the house down. You can't
What you think about to buy
you
it for the
can't
land and knock it down?
live on
Man, as
that.
usual, where is my sage? Ooh,
You gonna have
sage.
to you
Why
gonna
don't
have
I
to
just
have the
talk about him? I
sage.
just
You gonna
want
have
to
to have
shave my
the
buttercup.
sound bowl. Get it, get it out.
There we go. It makes me want to sage my buttercup.
I
Mm-mm.
can't. You and your buttercup. When you said that you went and got that enema and stuck it in the wrong hole, Simone, please.
It was so bad. I was just like itching. I was at the Democratic National Convention, just itching, and I said, "Oh gosh, I've got to take a bath, guys." And they're like, "You want a bath?" Like we were in a hotel. They're like, "You want a bath?" So you wouldn't understand. I've got chicken pox down there. You don't
You had to
understand.
be there.
Yeah, you guys had to
I
hear the story. It's in the prior live I did today.
Yes,
Sidebar.
we're so
I do
sorry.
these random
Um,
sidebars. I can't help it.
so my brain is so like I can't even believe that Diddy is sitting in Brooklyn jail with like bail denied.
Nobody can. Yeah. Even my attorney friends. So later tonight, oh, I'm so busy. This is why my blood pressure's high. Tonight at 8:30 Central, 9:30 Eastern, I'll be on the Court of Public Opinion with Al Reynolds. And one of my colleagues that'll also be on, Brian Ross, he is he's a federal criminal attorney, and he's in charge. He kept saying yesterday, it's going to be overturned on the appeal. It'll be overturned on the appeal, blah, blah, blah. Because when he does Miami court all the
Yeah.
time. Now, obviously, this is New York, but yeah, he's in shock too. We all are. I mean, it is just the
We
most
I opened up for
phenomenal.
the Court of Public Opinion a couple of weeks ago. He was doing Basketball Wives, so I was the opening video. I love Al and his team over there.
I love
Just briefly, tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern, I will be back here live or on Millichan '08. We are doing the State of the Union. So Zach, the Zactivist, Too Raw, Too Real, Double D Mother, Millichan, we will all be doing a State of the Union. We will be talking about the election and just the polls and just where we are. You know, hate to take that little turn, but guys, if you guys are not registered to vote, you can go to nationalvoterregistrationday.org and you can either check your voter registration and or register to vote for there. Go out to the polls, have a voting plan, take 2 or 3 people to the polls with you. Who you vote for is your business. You know where I'm going with it, but you do what you need to do. Just make sure you vote.
Absolutely. Get registered, guys. I'm so excited. Like this year, I think for the election, I'm gonna like have a sleepover with like friends. I need a support system around so that we can either like drink together and like enjoy. I think it's gonna be a celebration. So I'm
Do
excited.
you remember where you were Obama '08?
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
when they
yeah.
called it?
I was at 50/50. I was 40/40, Club 40/40 in New York. There was like a watch party there. Where were
Okay,
you?
you're outside. Excuse me. It doesn't matter.
I was very out. I had just found out that I passed the bar. Yeah, I just found out I passed the bar. I want to say as I was walking in, it was like something crazy like that.
Oh
It sure was.
no.
Yeah, because I took New York and New Jersey, and the results came out. Yeah, early November. Yeah, I had just found out, and you couldn't tell me nothing.
Nothing. Obama first term was my first time voting. So I like there was just this really big sense of pride. Like the first time I voted, the person I voted for made it to office. So I was at a watch party somewhere on like I don't know if I was on the north side, the east. I was in Atlanta. I couldn't even tell you. I couldn't get back to that bar if I tried. But anyway, back to the man who deserves all of the hell that he's getting, Mr. Papa Diddy Pop with the Haitian deity on his back. Okay, live bites, we love you real bad. Hello.
Yes.
um, what like? Okay, for real, right? We're talking about rap mogul. We are talking about somebody who has had his hands in everything. This man just had a key to the city that was revoked. Like, we're not talking about like just the rapper, and no disrespect to Shine, but even when Shine went down, it was kind of like, oh, just this one song artist, his debut album had not come out. This is a producer. He has brought us many of people. Again, there's no bounce back for Diddy, but like, is there a way to salvage anything, his kids, anything? Do we have a lifeline in the entertainment industry through the Combs family at all?
And I'm glad you asked that because like I'm not a parent yet, and who knows what God will have for me. But one thing I do is I am focused on studying my wealthy friends and how they raise well-rounded kids, because for me
Mm.
failure would be to have all that God's given me and have a loser ass kid, right? Sorry, a loser butt kid, right? Or that's not nice, that's
Sean.
not
Oh, what?
kind.
Who said that?
Those kind, yeah, those kind of things. And when I look at Christian is absolutely the example to me of what I don't want, in that he doesn't seem very kind from the stories. He seems mad corny. He's not educated. He doesn't seem to have used the opportunities that his father could have laid out for him. And so when I look at like that pipeline, Quincy is it. And Quincy, we know is Albie Shore's son, technically.
He want to be a
Quincy,
Combs so bad though. Like,
you feel like Quincy wants to be a Combs?
yes, he just did lip service with Angela Yee, and he was talking about his open letter, and he literally referred to Al B. Short as his homie. He was like, "We're homies. Like, we could kick it like that."
But see,
He
we
said,
don't know how all the events that he may have missed in his life, but I'll be sure,
"True."
but we also don't know what kinds of things Diddy did to I'll be sure over the years. Because we know one thing he likes to eliminate are the other options, for his
Mhm.
love interests, like he did in this petition, how they talked about with Kid Cudi. Kid Cudi is a person he allegedly kidnapped and threw the
Yep.
Molotov cocktail on. But I think when you talk about what's next and so forth, I think if we look at the right now, we've got Kevin Lyles stepping down. We've got other
Mhm.
executives stepping down. I think they're stepping down because they have been contacted by the feds. These were people who were subpoenaed. I believe that he was subpoenaed. He was
I
subpoenaed.
1000% believe that he was subpoenaed, because what we don't know, and y'all hate when I quote Jaguar Wright, but what we don't know or what we take into accountability is how many people keep the ship going. You feel what I'm saying? Do y'all think that Jay-Z was the only person who was on the not the reasonable that best of both worlds tours? You think he was on a tour bus reading his Bible? Like, no. Like,
Right?
there are people in place that keep things like this secret, even if they're not participating themselves. I think Kevin Lyles, with his history of not understanding the word no, I'm trying to use my words for YouTube,
Mm.
with his association to Trey Songz, I think it's safe to say that he might be on those tapes. I think it's safe to say that he helped bury some tapes. But I also want to ask you about this. So there was this alleged report that came out that said, and what's his name? Eddie Griffin said this as well, that he believes that Clive Davis and all of those powers that be are using their Fed pull to take Diddy down in an effort to get back the blackmail. everybody allegedly in the industry is in on the fact that Diddy has this blackmail, that he has these servers. He is the snake with the head that they can't get rid of. Kind of like Last
Looking to
Man
get it
Standing.
back or to
Well,
get
they
back
never
at
had it.
him?
Well, no, to get it. Like basically saying that Diddy has too much information.
Oh, gotcha. Well, so, but it, I don't know that they can
Maintain
even
control.
get it
Exactly.
in that if when the feds collect the documents, they keep them. You know, anything that's going to be used for trial is going to become public. But the things such as like the embarrassing, sexual stuff, they're not going to want that to be leaked to the public. In fact, those things will probably be filed under seal, just to,
Yeah, but
protect privacy.
couldn't they also disappear? Like everybody
Yes.
that work in the feds ain't clean, just like everybody that work in the police departments ain't clean, or else we wouldn't be here.
Yeah. I mean, I
Could it
love a
could
good
it be a
conspiracy
like
theory. Hmm.
oh for sure conspiracy.
Yeah, no, I mean, it could. I think though that more so, I have also heard that those same powers were basically wanting Diddy to be the fall guy. As though, like, hey, put all the heat over there. That way they don't look at us.
Mhm.
I don't think that's going to be the case. I think they're going to be looking at everybody. I
Oh
think
no, and
everybody
again,
is
I
seeing
think that
Diddy.
did going to tell them, no, you need to go
Yes.
over here. It's at longitude 45, latitude 52. This is where you need to be looking.
She said latitude, latitude. I know what that is. I know what that is.
He's gonna be giving all of the names. Honestly, too, if I was sitting on like Bill Clinton and people from the UK, if I was sitting on the people that Diddy allegedly is sitting on, yeah, y'all would have to pull a scandal and get me up out of there
Absolutely.
because I'm gonna tell everybody. Y'all
Absolutely.
seen
And
the tape?
also, yeah. Also, interestingly, don't be surprised if Trey Songz ends up getting wrapped up in this too, as well as Kevin Lyles. Don't forget, last year there was a lawsuit, a civil suit filed against both Trey Songz and Kevin Lyles for $25 million, alleging S assault.
Mhm.
And that one kind of went away. I'm going to do some research. I'm going to dig back up and kind of figure out how that was like resolved or whatever happened with that. It could easily have been the case was dismissed because maybe they paid the girl. I'm not sure.
I
But
can't remember what
mhm,
happened with them. I do remember that there was the case. They were both named. And I also find it very interesting that Kevin Lyle is not stepping down effective 2025, effective next fiscal year, right?
mhm,
Kevin Lyle put in his paperwork on Monday, whatever date that was, and he told them that he would be there through the end of the month, I believe it said, in a liaison capacity. And then that
mm,
man was leaving.
mm.
So it seemed like he been tipped off.
He's absolutely girl, he might run to Bali like Russell Simmons and get on out of there. Get
I'm
on
gonna
out.
lie to you. If I did what these people did, I wouldn't stay around.
No,
I'm not, I'm not
they
gonna
got
lie
enough
to you.
money.
I would
They'll
get
be
up and
okay.
leave.
Yeah,
I would
Trey,
get up
it's
and
Trey
leave.
Songz. He didn't have to be trash. That was a choice. Well,
That
yeah, that's true.
no, Trey Songz was truly a choice because that man could have got up and left because he did need to go right now. Okay. He could have done it anytime he wanted to. And he decided, I'm going to stay. And now more than the neighbors know his name. I'm done with the puns.
I love the analogies. I love it. But yeah, no, I think today what I was most surprised at, like the level of desperation of Diddy's lawyers, including saying, "Your Honor, he was an altar boy. He watches church sermons every day. Yeah, he's over there watching TD Jakes talk about getting swallowed up, swallowed up,
That-
swallowed up."
yeah. Have you ever been swallowed? Like baby oil. That was the part that we didn't know that he was talking about.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Somebody said, they said, "Oh no, the feds couldn't let Diddy go. All that baby oil, he'll be slipping and sliding right past the feds. We'll never see him again."
I said that man is a slithery snake. Okay. If you
Oh, that's okay. She's coming back. She said he is a slivery snake. Ooh, they said I heard Trey was sitting in the diddler's lap. Child, I don't know.
when I
I
saw
don't
this.
know. There you go. No,
Listen, they say everybody was on Diddy's lap. If we could have a whole episode of all of the names that people who are assumed to be in association with Diddy. But I think that I I think Stevie J might have a brain. That's what I think. I
You said a
think
brain?
a brain, a
Wow, tell
brain.
me more.
And that pains me. I do need you to understand that my heart like broke a little bit when I said it. But again, conspiracy theory, right? But looking at hip hop and being into it from like Egypt days, if you were like in New York or old
Mhm.
school Wendy Williams days, and all of these stories and putting them together, right?
I love Egypt.
And
Mhm.
then me too. And then you think about Faith Evans, who has said on multiple occasions and multiple interviews that they know who unalived Biggie Smalls, LAPD just would not pursue it. She said that on Wendy Williams. I have a video
Mm.
on my page where I pulled the clip. She
Wait, now
did
which
an
one said that?
interview, Faith Evans.
Oh.
Yes. Two interviews, one with a newspaper. I won't quote a name because I don't remember who it was, but one was a newspaper sit down on a couch, and one was Wendy Williams, which I have referenced on a video on my page. And she said that they know, her and Biggie Smalls' mother know who killed Biggie Smalls. LAPD would not um look into it. Around that time, when she was heavy into trying to get LAPD to look into this case, she randomly married Stevie J and put out a new album.
Mm.
And then Stevie J proceeded to be the right hand man of Diddy that we've
Mm-mm.
seen from maybe about 2019 to current, right?
I
And
need some chicken. This is too much. Keep going.
when all of that
Chicken,
started
chicken nugget.
happening, I said, does anybody see what I see? Right? Like,
Mm.
because again, Stevie J, you have a lot of you guys forget Stevie J has been around from the beginning. Stevie J is listed on a lot of your favorite
It sure
songs
is.
as producers. Stevie J came up in the writing camp with if you listen to old Missy Elliott interviews, and she talks about how oh boy from Jodeci would put them in the basement and give them 90 minutes to write a song. They came from that camp. Stevie J was around then, okay? He knows Mary J when she was with Casey. He knows where the bodies are
Oh
hidden.
my God, I
And now
forgot
you
about
go here and you put this man, and now all of a sudden they're besties. We never saw Stevie J and P. Diddy in public together like that to this degree. And then
that.
yesterday he
Right.
gets online and gets this video riding off into the sunset, and allegedly because of his cooperation he won't be arrested. That don't sound like he infiltrated.
It sure does. Because you know that man, that is a nasty Negro. Okay, that is a nasty man. You know, he was at all of those kinds of festivities. That
You know
absolutely
it.
sounds like that. And he's about the scariest
No.
of them all. Definitely, Diddy is definitely the most scary, but he's right over there.
But
Right
that's a
over
good
there.
cover. He's not too goody to be there. He's nasty enough to get him to tell him, you know what I mean? The T, it's not like
Yeah.
he's looking like, oh, I can't go here with you. Stevie J could be a friend to Diddy. They could go anywhere. You know, we could go to the
Mhm,
red carpet. We can go to the freak offs. We can
mhm.
go to Epstein Island. You know, allegedly. I'm just saying we could do whatever. And Stevie J fits in. He's a chameleon in that sense.
Mm, mhm. Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, there's going to be so much going on with this case. I think the next thing to watch for is I am eager to hear. So October 9th, they're having a pretrial hearing. And at that
Mhm.
hearing, they're going to try and come up with an agreed trial date. Now, Diddy is likely going to want to do a speedy trial. Now, speedy
Of
trial, I'm
course.
going to have to confirm the timing of that. But basically, that would be a trial within about a year. Within about a year, because usually it'd be 2 3 year, otherwise Diddy would have every incentive to take as much time as
Is
possible.
the Speedy in the room with us? A year? Get me get me out.
Right. Right. Like I don't, because I don't think they could do this kind of a trial in 6 months, and both sides have to agree. The U.S. attorney has to agree, as well as
His
the defense attorney. It has to work with their schedules. But they subpoenaed, Black Goddess said it, yep, they subpoenaed 300 people. So that's a lot
300
of
is
witnesses that are going to have to
monotonous.
be interviewed, as well as, and before they go before a grand jury, they interview someone, because that's how they decide whether they want you to go before a grand jury at all.
Yes.
So I believe the 300 subpoenas were actually, I think it might have been 300 people that went before the grand jury. I'll have to confirm that. It says in
Okay.
April, TMZ asked Kevin Liles if he believed the allegations against Diddy, and he said no. In April, Diddy paid off his Miami home to prepare for bail for his counsel. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. That's true.
So
Yeah.
in the press conference today, Diddy's lawyer said that they will be doing everything that they can to, I guess, for lack of legal knowledge, file a third appeal. What does that process look like? How is he going to go about possibly now trying to get him out on bail yet again?
Great question. So my understanding is they've got 30 days to do that. Of course, they're going to do it as soon as possible. But the problem is, I think that would have to go to an appellate court, which would be like the Second Circuit. Those
Okay.
courts got real issues. They're not worried about this. They've got like abortion issues and those kinds of things. So I don't see it being an emergency for them. In other words,
Mm.
it could take a year for them to get to that. So I'm going to look more into that. That's an excellent question. But
Again,
because
it's Edie in the
Mhm.
room with us.
What's that?
A year? I mean, I get it, obviously, but also I'm even looking at the picture behind you and my chest is getting tight, and we know that it don't even look like that, like, and he deserves to be there. My chest isn't tight for him. My chest is tight because I could not imagine.
Yeah. No, no. And he's going to be, and here's the thing I want you guys to consider this as well. When you are in protective custody, it's solitary confinement. That means that even though you're there for your protection, you don't get any of the amenities of general population. You get the limitations of protective custody. Everybody else there in solitary confinement is there because they were naughty for the most part. There are some people
Mhm.
who are there because they have like threats against them, that kind of thing. But just to be clear, like if the rule is no TV for those people, he don't get TV. He doesn't get an exception because he's only there for that. So for that reason is why many people say, "Oh no, get me out of here." Whatever the visitation schedule is, they have to follow the visitation schedule of protective custody. It is, it
Mm.
is, it- it's a punishment, but it's time. It's time. Jesus loves you, and he said you needed to go to jail. Mhm.
No, Jesus, listen, Godspeed, good luck and Godspeed, because I feel
Mhm.
like they are already setting it up in the media. If he wasn't in solitary confinement or protective custody, he was going to be there because they've already put it out in the media that it would be like a badge of honor if somebody in prison were to unalive him. So
Absolutely.
you have to be mindful of that. I personally, I don't know what it takes to get stick with me, a schmuicide watch or order put on somebody,
Me
but I
neither.
would have one on him very quickly because all of
Yes.
this, everything that Diddy did was for power. It was for
Mhm.
financial gain. It was for entertainment immortality, if you will. To be in a point now where you are powerless, in the words of Joan Rivers, you can't even get yourself arrested, much less a job, a restaurant table. You know what I mean? To be at a point where
Yes.
everything that you've worked for is now gone by your own doing. That's you gonna try and get funny, and you need to be here for trial. So
Absolutely, absolutely. So, let me see. Someone had asked, oh, celebrity scandalous. I see your super chat. Thank you so much. I'm gonna look for that email. If you could put in the chat, like, what's the name for the email, so that I'll search for it too. But also, someone asked Symone, who, if you were Diddy, who would you hire as your legal dream team?
that's a
Here's the thing,
great
I'm not as
question.
familiar with criminal lawyers because I don't really traffic in that side of it. But Brian Ross, of course, who is also on Court of Public Opinion with me frequently, I would say Brian Steele as well, the attorney that's representing Young Thug in the YSL trial.
Okay, yes,
And there was another,
get him immediately.
yeah, there was Sean, I forget her last name, but she represented Bill Cosby, black woman based in California,
Mhm,
tall. She's
mhm.
got the short haircut. I forget her last name, but her too. She um she got great deals for Lindsay Lohan and others in California. She's just bad A. She's just a
She
bad chick. And
she
remember,
even
she
did for
although
Cosby all that he was against, like, even what he came out with was still a good deal.
Correct.
office.
And ultimately it got overturned. So she did everything. She argued what needed to be argued. And most importantly, she preserved the record for appeal so that they could win that bad boy. He still did
I
it, but
I made a face when I read this because I thought at first I thought it said you would get OJ's dream team. I
she
said
was
that thing gonna
on
have Diddy
OJ's
up
dream
there
team.
talking about something the glove don't fit.
I didn't realize that. Thank you so much for telling us. Yeah, because she doesn't seem that old, but I guess so. Sean Chapman Holly. Thank you. I remember her saying Sean
Wanda,
Holly. Ooh,
this now,
ooh,
okay, for
ooh,
those of
another
you who
chicken
don't
nugget.
know, Tia Kemp, Rick Ross's baby mama, who lives to keep her foot on Renee's neck. That's what she calls him.
Wait,
She
she
got
calls him what?
online, Renee, amongst other things, big back gorilla, the Ozempic bitch. Like she calls him a bunch. But she got on live today and said that allegedly he had sent somebody after her. He had put a hit out on her, and she said, "If you play with me, I'm gonna play." And then she started dropping names. She was like, "Should we tell the police about Miss Crystal? Should we tell them about such and such? You know, the person who was killed here." So she said that she was gonna play the feds game. She said she was calling the feds. Um, Now I don't know how much weight that holds. If she was gonna call him, if the veneers is, I love Tia, okay, but we do have to acknowledge that sometimes it gives a little nutcase. Um, so we'll take that with a grain of salt. But that is what she said. She said that she was going to send the feds after Mr. Wingstop himself.
I believe her. I believe she is going to call them, and I believe she knows where a lot of bodies are probably buried. They were together for a very long time, so that would not surprise me. And she's not here to play. Wait, Sean Holly is with the Cochran firm? That's interesting. I was going to join them at one point.
Okay, ain't nothing but a little light
Okay.
flex. Okay,
Mm.
not I was going to join the Cocker firm. Okay.
Okay.
Listen, any more questions about the diddler before we get up out of here?
No. I just think I still can't believe that man talking about Your Honor, he's an altar boy.
When he said he
What?
was an altar boy, I said, "Sir, that man is 58 years old. Please do not talk to me about things he did 5 decades ago." I cannot. I cannot. And if
Man,
you keep talking, I'm gonna make them lock up Mama Janice too. Because where did he learn it from?
at least take a wig. Come on, somebody come get that wig. I've been wanting somebody to come snatch that thing. Just replace
I
it. Don't let it go bald headed.
I've never understood Janice's wig, and it's been the same. I think Janice and Mama Evelyn go to the same hairdresser. Thank you.
Oh yeah. Okay, but Mama Evelyn's looks nice. It works better with her, I guess her
Now,
complexion a little better. Now, okay, that's fair. That's fair.
mhm.
I see what you did there. I see what you did there. Fair enough. Fair enough. Fair enough.
Revoke the
Mm-mm.
wig, please.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Al. I have just really enjoyed shooting the ish, talking about this Diddy case with you. And we are gonna have to reconvene. We've got a lot more topics going on. I think you and I chit chatted last night about some Bravo topics. But I
Yes,
love coming with the receipts. You come with the commentary, and we just bring them together.
we bring them together. It's all facts based. Okay, it's a
Yeah.
little salacious, but it's all facts
Mhm.
based. To the chit chatters in the room, to your are your people your legal aid because they should be.
I call them the jury.
Okay, the jury, to the jury, to the chit chatters. Thank you guys for being here. It's 8 o'clock at night. Y'all could be anywhere in the world. We got elections going on. Groceries is higher than giraffe's ass. So I know half of y'all got to be
Mhm.
at work too. So I really truly appreciate you guys being here, chit chatting with us, and kind of breaking down other people's business because that's what we was doing. Let's not try to
Boom.
let's not try to shine it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, thank you again so much. And you take care. Bye,
Yes,
jury. Bye,
bye
chit
guys.
chatters. Bye.